Hersheypark is home to some of the world's best coasters, and this year they announced that they would be adding Wildcat's Revenge to their already stacked lineup. Wildcat's Revenge is an RMC hybrid coaster that takes you up 140 feet, drops you at an 82-degree angle, and reaches speeds of 62 miles per hour with 4 inversions. And let me tell you, this thing is one aggressive RMC. I was expecting it to be good, but not this good. So let's just dive right into the review. When you walk up to Wildcat's Revenge, the first thing you will see is a massive sign telling you the coaster name, and you will also see some good shots of the zero-G rolls and the lift hill. This station is also clearly seen from the midway. Other than that, there isn't a whole lot of theming or anything, just the entrance of the ride. The queue line is very good in terms of views of the ride. I got most of my footage from the queue line because of how close you get to the ride. I mean, you are right up close to the transition between the second wave turn and the double down. The only downside of the queue line is that you aren't really going to be in a lot of shade. The only shade you will find in this line is from the old Wildcat queue because some of the trees are still there. Overall, though, the queue line is pretty cool because you get right up and close to the Wildcat structure. Now we are getting into the meat of the video, the station and the ride experience. Like most RMCs, you have to store any loose articles in a locker, but the lockers are much larger double-sided lockers than the ones on Steel Vengeance or Velocicoaster. You can also fit backpacks in these lockers, which is pretty cool. Then, like most RMCs, you take a small fleet of stairs up into the station. The station plays the same music that plays in the Wildcat's Revenge announcement trailer. Since the station has both load and unload areas, the train will pull into this loading area empty, which allows you to board the train and dispatch much quicker. The RMC restraints are still the same, but they include wacky seatbelts and handles. Once you board the train, the operators will give your lap bar a tug and dispatch you out of the station. Now, this pre-lift section is actually pretty fun because it has an outer banked hill into a twisted airtime hill, before turning into the very steep lift hill. I don't know how other truss lifts are, but this lift hill felt fairly steep compared to the other coasters by RMC. When you crest the lift hill, you will drop 140 feet at 82 degrees, making this drop pretty good drop compared to some other RMCs. The drop gives some good ejector before slamming you back into your seat. The underflip is what you traverse next, and it is very, very snappy. You absolutely fly through this element. The exit of the underflip leads you into a very sustained ejector airtime hill. This moment was probably the most disappointing part of the ride for me. Sure, it gives you some very good ejector. I think Storm Chaser's hill is just way better. It gives way stronger airtime, and it has a bit more of a kick to it. But after the airtime hill, you fly into one of my favorite moments on the ride, the outer banked step up into the first wave turn. You fly over this outer banked step up, giving some great ejector airtime before being slammed into your seat and then ejected once more on a very sharp wave turn. The stall is what you traverse next, and it is actually a pretty great stall. I was expecting to fly over it, but you actually get a decent amount of hang time, hitting 0Gs almost immediately once you get into the stall. The entrance and exit of the stall are also extremely snappy. Definitely a better stall than some of the other RMCs. After the stall, you go into another, more drawn-out wave turn that gives sustained sideways ejector airtime. This is another great element, but the one that follows is an even better one, the double down. I knew this would either be one of the best elements of the ride or one of the most disappointing. But man, this element kicks butt. You rise into some great ejector before getting pulled to the side by crazy lateral forces and dropping down towards the ground. This element was great. Then you enter an extremely snappy 0G roll and an overbanked turn. These are taken at great speed, just like the rest of the layout. This probably has one of the best pacing on any RMCs. I mean, this ride just never slows down. Then you enter the final inversion. This is just as snappy as the first 0G roll, but the best part of this ride is probably the finale. This finale is insane, giving the most powerful airtime on the ride. The pop into the brake run is so powerful because it is taken at much speed and has a good lateral turn into the brakes. Sadly, the brakes don't squeak anymore. When you exit the ride, you are able to easily retrieve your items from the locker and exit the ride. Overall, this RMC is unreal in pacing and airtime, and I would say that this is a top-tier RMC. I have not ridden all the RMCs, but the ones I have ridden are ones like Twisted Timbers and Steel Vengeance, and this is right up there with them. I do think this is way better than Twisted Timbers, though. This ride has insane pacing, and I absolutely love this attraction. And just a quick heads up, I rode this ride in the middle of the train, like the literal middle of the train, and it still gave some of the greatest airtime and some great hang time compared to some other RMCs in the front or back. I could just not wait to ride this in the front or back rows because I'm sure it will be even better back there. I do think this is the best coaster at Hersheypark, but once I get more rides in, then that will be my final thought, but who knows. Overall, I think this ride is insane, and I cannot wait for you all to ride it. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and if I sounded congested in this video, that's because I am. I think I have maybe a bit of a cold. I don't know, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible for you guys, and I hope you guys just have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.